Hey, this is the kitty cat. This is Fausta, and you have to understand something. Fausta is not my cat, but she appears a couple of times a day right over there. Let me just show you. My neighbor there has a wall like mine, but he's higher up. The cat comes across on his wall, and he gets up there because out on the street, which is just one house over, it's a street that runs flat on, I don't know, north and south maybe, but there's an old bougainvillea bush there, and so Fausta climbs up there, and I'm sure we have other cat. I have another cat too, a yellow one. And so they get up there by that bush and they come across his wall to this corner. And then what he does sometimes is that he crosses back, if you kind of recognize where I'm at, he crosses back to that beam and he wanders back and forth along that beam, and sometimes he just sits there and pesters Rusty because Rusty doesn't really understand how that works. It bothers him. Or the cat simply jumps out onto the roof. There's a nylon sunshade, and he gets up there, or she, and rests in the sun. It's like a big trampoline. Okay, now then what? He comes back. He doesn't like that for very long, and he comes back and he sits on this post. He sits up, move over, the cat's under me. He sits on that post, and Rusty doesn't like that either. That's weird for him. He doesn't understand that. Or Fausta comes over here. Well, the other yellow cat sits there too. That's in the shade all day. So that's a favorite place. But then he comes across the wall. So now he comes across from that post in the shade here to this one, and he keeps right on walking, and he comes over here to the roof. Now he has two choices. He can climb up on the roof, which doesn't take him any place. Well, it sort of does, but he has learned there's a better way, and that is to just come to this last column and jump down. There is a log down here, and it's quite a stretch, but he lands on that log pretty nicely. Or if he doesn't feel adventurous, he jumps over and onto that red molding, and he comes in here. And then what does he do? Well, here's the birds, by the way. Okay. They're in there having it's evening, so they're kind of quiet. So Fausta comes in here, and she jumps up onto the bricks and over that first lateral beam. Then she comes over to this side, peeks around, doesn't waste much time, comes across that red molding, goes around this next column, just around it because it's not sealed in there. See how that works? She goes around there and right out again to the red molding again. Okay, so then she just zings across here. It's not flat, but it's not a problem for her. And she comes over here then, and she does the same maneuver. Oh, it's hard to see. But she does the same thing, jumping up to the top of the post, the column, and over the beam. Over that beam, right back down to here, and then she jumps across to here. Then over that beam, okay, over that beam, and now she has this window. And right here is a windowsill. It's dirty, but you'll forgive me for that. And then from the windowsill, she can jump down. Now understand that when she goes home, she just retraces. Yeah, she just goes back the same way. She comes right over here by this bucket, leaps up there, and then almost immediately jumps back up on there and goes all the way around, doing the same thing she did to get in here. It's kind of amazing, really, that she would have seen that and figured that out, but that's how she does it. And that's all. She's just a really nice little tame kitty. I'm not a cat person much, but I don't mind. I don't mind a sweet little kitty like this one. No. You're a pretty good kitty, aren't you? You're a good kitty cat. And we feed her sometimes when she gets here. We don't leave food out because Rusty might take it, but it's interesting that Rusty doesn't seem to bother her. Now, in a previous life, Rusty was crazy about cats around. He would just go dipshit. He would just go crazy, racing around the yard and trying to get to the cat. And of course, the cats would race around and try to get away from him. But Fausta does not do that. Fausta isn't afraid of Rusty. He comes racing out here, and she just stays there and watches him race around, and he finally realizes that there's no race, there's no fight. And so he calms down, and they just are kind of friendly. Which go? Which go? We don't go inside. No, we don't go inside. No, we don't. Come on. Yeah. And I feed her a little stuff. We buy little packets of food for her. And the thing is, I should explain. Cats in the neighborhood are everywhere. We have lots of cats, and nobody really owns a cat, probably. There are enough cats to go around. And so, they tend to spend the night up in a maintenance shop behind doors where they're safe. And the maintenance guys... What are you doing? I'm not dressed for socializing. The maintenance guys feed them and take care of them. And we donate. I buy a bag of food every now and then. Okay. Pretty soon she'll be taken off again. Right back there. That's how she leaves.